Well, if you're trying to sell your house, of course you want it to look good, but there are a few things you might not have heard of that can actually make a pretty big difference. I spoke with realtors Melissa Greer and Dan Horfeck, who say that it's all in the details, even down to the color of the front door.
We see blue, we see pink, which is really cool. There's several pink ones. And even O. Henry Magazine did a story on them and drove around, and one of them was pink, one was light blue. You see teal, you see navy blue. It's very interesting. Now, if you get to a more traditional neighborhood where you don't see that as much, I think usually black is always safe. If people want to know, that's what I tell them. A dark charcoal is always safe, depending on the color of the house. But usually, if you need something to pop or you want to make it interesting or even just appealing to someone who would want to see something different, then I think it's a way to distinguish your house from someone else's.
And there are other ways to clean up the front, and some of them will not drain the wallet.
Curb appeal is really important. And some of the obvious things are trimming your shrubs and trees, putting some fresh flowers out, whether that's in the ground or some nice pots framing the front door. But one of the things that people may not think about, but really provides a great finishing touch, is the mulch. And I recently had a client who just switched from pine bark mulch to pine straw, just because it gives a little bit neater finish. It's definitely a cheap or less expensive option. And it's something you can do yourself, so you don't have to hire anybody to do it.
So that's interesting. Everybody says, mow the grass, plant some flowers, I get that, but I didn't think of mulch. And he said, don't do the expensive pine bark nuggets or whatever, just do the pine straw because it's less expensive, but it dresses up your yard. And you can do it yourself. You don't have to hire somebody to do that because it's so easy and small.
When I was looking for a house earlier this year, it's crazy how much just something little like that can make a difference when you're showing a home. One house didn't do anything, and then the next one, it might have not as been as nice as a house, but when you dress it up a little bit and make it look like people live there, it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, they could have all of the glitz and glamour in the interior and things of that nature, but even in the exterior, if it looks really nice, it's easy for someone, exactly like you're saying, to go for that one.
And that's the first thing you do. You drive by and you go, that's a cute house. Like that gets you in the door. The builder that sold our house to us, I thought this was genius. He baked cookies before we got there.
It's the little things.
And so when we opened the door, literally chocolate chip cookie smell, and you were like, this is home. I'll sign the document.
And so, and what do the cookies cost? $3?
Right. I told him, I said, you did this on purpose. And he said, I sure did.